All right, part two. We're going to go over transferring, a little bit more about ITV, and trimming. And transferring is how we get the files from the console hard drive through the network and into our ITV archive, which allows us to work with them on our computer so we can start preparing orders and doing the trimming. In the Finder, you can see a shared connection with Teal Console. The two computers are hooked up through network cable and a network switch that's down at Sound, which allows us access to the console hard drive, which is, as you can see here, it's Roger. Each tour has a different hard drive name, but you always see this hard drive here, and you can see when you click on the hard drive, you're able to access the routines that console has put on that hard drive after they record them. And so you can always get the up-to-date routines after console records them and puts them on the hard drive. And you really you select all of the routines and you drag them over to your ITV archive and drop. It's just a click, drag, and drop. And you're not replacing because that makes it so that it doesn't overwrite any of the files that you've already transferred. And you can see now all these files are in my ITV archive, and I'm able to work with them in the ITV program. As soon as they've transferred into this ITV archive, the next time that I open ITV, they'll be there. And during the show, you're transferring about every 5 entries. If you're on top of your game or it's not too busy, you might be transferring every 1 entry if you're able to trim and transfer quickly enough to stay on pace with console's recording. Every time you transfer and go through that step where you go into Finder and transfer the files, you transfer them into ITV archive. If you've got some new routines, you've got to close, which is Command Q, ITV, and reopen it, which is the same thing as hitting like refresh, and that allows the new routines to show up in ITV. In ITV is like iTunes for video. ITV allows us to organize orders into playlists. By creating a playlist, you can group the routines in their order that will become a customer's DVD. So you can see all the routines here in a list in the main recording library. We've got 32 routines here, and they've all got these little eyes next to them, which means that they haven't been worked with in ITV yet. Next, we're going to go through the trimming step, which is basically cutting off the beginning and end of the routine so that it starts cleanly and ends cleanly, so that they're not getting a long pause or a long transition before and after the routine performs. So I've right-clicked on this routine to start the trimming process, and I just scroll down to Edit. And while I'm here, I'm double checking to make sure that everything's spelled correctly, that it's got the right number, that it's got the right name. And then I'm just starting the routine and listening to the announce. And by listening to the announce, I'm double checking, like I said, to make sure that it's the right one. And I'm also deciding when to start the routine. I've either got to start it before they enter the stage, in that beat before they enter the stage and after the announce ends, or if they happen to enter the stage before the announce, I've got to make a judgment call on whether or not I think that their entrance is a dedicated part of their performance. In this case, we're going to see that they're entering on stage as the announce is happening, which means that we've got to make that judgment call.
Competition. First up, Junior Duet Trio, Tap, age 9. Entry number 1, Michaela, Autumn, and Mackenzie, Mr. Pinstripe Suit.
And so I can see doing that their entrance is a little bit, it's choreographed, and so I kind of want to include that on the DVD just in case, even though it's in the middle of the announce. So I've hit spacebar to start and stop, and I've scrolled and listened to the announce, and then I'm going to hit these 2 triangles down here at the bottom, and that's going to put 2 markers where my playhead is, and this is going to be our start and stop point. I'm going to take the left triangle and just drag it back to the end, and you can see these red and yellow bars that now cover the beginning of the routine. That indicates that this is the section that's not going to show up on the DVD. When a customer gets the DVD, it's going to start right here, right before they enter the stage. The next thing that I'm going to do is just click and drag on my playhead and just scroll through to make sure that the video is clean from start to finish, that it looks good, that there's no dead spots where maybe like the camera shut off or went out of focus. Nothing that's going to be a customer quality concern. For a few routines, I'm also going to have to listen to the audio to make sure the audio is correct. We want to make sure that we're doing that at the beginning of the day for sure, when tap routines are out. We just want to watch the sound engineers back and make sure that the video is coming out clean and everything sounds great. We're the last line of quality control before the customer gets this DVD. So as I'm scrolling through, I'm checking all these things, and I'm scrolling to the end where I want the performance to end. I'm going to wait till they exit the stage, and this, you can see it's a pretty tight transition. They're already bringing out a prop, but I'm going to let the dancers exit the stage, and I'm going to click these two triangles again and drag the right triangle this time to the end of the routine. And so you can see at the beginning and end of the routine, I've got these yellow and red bars which indicate that this is where these are areas that aren't going to be included on the DVD disc. And then I can just hit Command W to close that. And I'm going to do that for all these routines. I'm going to try to stay on top of my trimming because as the weekend goes on, you'll have time where you're not doing anything, and you should be doing trimming then, because as the weekend gets on and more customers come up and more orders come in, you want to have this step pretty much completed so that you can drop these routines right into the playlist. And that's a pretty good segue going into the playlist, but I'm going to start a new video talking about how to organize your orders in ITV. So video 3 coming up.